Federal law enforcement using unmarked vehicles to grab protesters off Portland streets. Let's be honest. There's a word for this. It's black bagging.
Yeah.
The story, I'm not going to bury the lead on this one because I think it's hilarious. Unmarked vehicles pull up, feds jump out, and then walk up to Antifa and just snatch them up. Gone. And you know what? I mean, it's funny to think because I'm thinking about like when I was a kid, you know, watching, like when I was younger, watching V for Vendetta or any of these movies. You'd imagine that anybody carrying out these governmental black baggings were the bad guys.
That's a good point.
No, not here. 47 days these people have been allowed to throw bricks and Molotovs, try to burn down a federal courthouse. Yeah, that you're not the good guys. You're a bunch of crazy people. And the local government won't enforce any of these laws. So the feds are like, the easiest way to make arrests is just, to be fair, they're not showing up to their homes, you know, in the middle of the night and literally putting a black bag over their head and then cracking them with a truncheon or something. They're waiting until they start walking away from the courthouse and then come around when they're by themselves and arrest them for the riot they just partook in.
Exactly.
But it is still funny to call it, you know, them getting black bagged. All right, let's read. They got an update here. They say, in the early hours of July 15th, after a night spent protesting, peaceful protesting. That's what you call it when you throw bricks at a building.
What a way to spin it.
Try to crack someone over the head with a hammer. At the Multnomah County Justice Center and Marco Hatfield Federal Courthouse, Mark Pettibone and his friend Connor O'Shea decided to head home. It had been a calm night compared to most protesting downtown. Okay, I am no longer going to use the word protesting. I'm not going to editorialize the way they do. They say by 2 a.m., law enforcement hadn't used any tear gas. With only a few exceptions, both the Portland Police Bureau and federal law enforcement officers had stayed out of sight. A block west of Chapman Square, Pettibone and O'Shea bumped into a group of people who warned them that people in camouflage were driving around the area in unmarked minivans, grabbing people off the street. So that was terrifying to hear, Pettibone said. They had barely made it half a block when an unmarked minivan pulled up in front of them. I see guys in camo, O'Shea said. 4 or 5 of them pop out, open the door, and it was just like, OS. I don't know who you are or what you want with us. Federal law enforcement officers have been using unmarked vehicles to drive around downtown Portland and detain rioters since at least July 14th. Personal accounts and multiple videos posted online show the officers driving up to people, detaining individuals with no explanation of why they are being arrested and driving off. I'm going to stop right here and tell you about one of the most annoying things in the world to me.
What's that?
There's a really famous viral video from Occupy Wall Street where the woman is being arrested and she's yelling, I have not been read my rights. They are not reading me my rights. And I'm like, shut up. They don't have to. What do you think is going on? Do you think they're going to get in trouble because they didn't Mirandize you? They're not investigating you. They watched you throw the brick.
Yeah.
So what people don't get is that reading their Miranda rights means they're investigating you and they need to collect evidence. If the cop literally watches you throw a brick or swing a punch or obstruct a roadway, they don't need to read you your rights. You just get arrested. The evidence is their eyes and their witness statement. I'm an officer. The person swung at me. There you go. Go to court. Your word versus their word. I get it. You know, see what happens. Often the courts side with the cops. It's not perfect. But people seem to think that, like, no explanation for why they were being arrested. They don't have to give you one. And people also think that they get a phone call. That's also not true either. I want my phone call. You don't get one. If you're nice, they'll give you one. They can contact your lawyer though, so you can tell them, you know, I need to talk to my lawyer.
Well, most times if you're in like the waiting area, like in the cell, once you're like in the pen, they give you 50 cents. For the most, I mean, they gave me 50 cents.
Because I'll say they didn't give me 50 cents.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. But there's a payphone that you can use. So I mean, you can call someone collect. I'm sure. So
I got arrested for skateboarding once. They took my shoelaces off my shoes. That was really annoying because skater shoelaces are usually frayed. And so like putting them back in is a nightmare.
Yeah, good call.
And I said, can I make a phone call? And they said, yep. And they walked me over to the phone. And that was it. And then I couldn't get in touch with anybody. And then I spent the night in jail. And then the judge got really mad about it later. But that's a different story. But no, like the journalists are writing that there's no explanation for why they're being arrested. You were just at a riot.
Yeah.
Like you're literally outside of a courthouse rioting. They caught you. They're arresting you. So they say the tactic appears to be another escalation in federal force deployed on Portland city streets, as federal officers and Trump have said they plan to quell nightly protests outside the federal courthouse and Multnomah County Justice Center after that have lasted for more than 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe they got to do something. Okay. Let me ask you, what's the alternative? Should the feds just like plow in with cow catchers and just barrel through these rioters? Are they going to run out full speed and just start slamming people to the ground? It's a conflict they're trying to avoid.
Right.
And this seems to be a more peaceful, less violent way to actually grab people who've been rioting. I'm going to show you this. Check this out. Acting Secretary Wolf condemns the rampant, long-lasting violence in Portland. The city of Portland has been under siege for 47 straight days by a violent mob, while local political leaders refuse to restore order to protect their city. Each night, lawless anarchists, I take issue with that term, destroy and desecrate property, including the federal courthouse, and attack the brave law enforcement officers protecting it. You know what, man? You know what would happen if the rioters just went home?
What?
Nothing would happen.
Yeah, nothing.
The law enforcement officers would be sitting in the office inside the building, probably talking about the latest episode of, I don't know. Is anybody talking about Westworld anymore? That show's kind of gone off the rails.
No.
What is anybody watching?
It came out and then it went.
Yeah, like really fell fast.
Yeah.
What is it? Whatever. You get the point. They're gonna be complaining about how there's no sports.
Yeah.
They're gonna be sitting there being like, man, I can't wait for baseball to come back. It's coming back next week.
Next week, a week from today, they said.
Yeah, that's what it's been reported by some outlets. But nothing would happen. The federal law enforcement aren't marching through the street and targeting people. But now they're trying to make it seem like that because they're literally attacking a courthouse trying to burn it down.
Right.
Check out this. So, let's.
And most people are saying, well, the riots are over. No one's rioting anymore. When
Here,
this
check
has
it
been
out.
going on for 6 weeks. Go ahead. Yeah.
They say Pettibone did not escape the federal officers. I am basically tossed into the van, and I had my beanie pulled over my face. This is a violation of human rights. I am on the side of the protester. I'm kidding.
Right.
Beanie lives matter.
That's right.
They pulled his beanie down.
What?
How dare they? How rumph.
So they pulled my beanie down over my face so I couldn't see, and they held my hands over my head. Weird. Pettibone and O'Shea both said they couldn't think of anything they might have done to end up targeted by law enforcement. They attended violent riots regularly, but they said they aren't instigators. They don't spray paint buildings, shine laser pointers at officers, or do anything else other than attend riots, which law enforcement have regularly deemed unlawful assemblies. Mm-hmm. Yes, because they're riots. Have you seen the videos? Like,
yeah, they're crazy.
They're just burning things.
They are
random.
not peaceful protests.
Yeah.
That is what is protected. Thank you, some guy on Twitter.
This is a great story. Let's read. Blinded by his hat in an unmarked minivan full of armed people dressed in camouflage and body armor who hadn't identified themselves, Pettibone said he was driven around downtown before being unloaded inside the building. He wouldn't learn until after his release that he had been inside the federal courthouse. Wow, that's amazing. So these people leave the courthouse during the riot. The van pulls up, snatches them, brings them back. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It was basically a process of facing many walls and corners as they patted me down and took my picture and rummaged through my belongings. One of them said, "This is a whole lot of nothing." Pettibone said he was put into a cell. Soon after, 2 officers came in to read him his Miranda rights. Wow, that sounds like they're investigating him for probably conspiracy or something.
Yeah, maybe.
They didn't tell him why he was being arrested. He said they asked him if he wanted to waive his rights and answer some questions, but Pettibone declined and said he wanted a lawyer. The interview was terminated, and about 90 minutes later, he was released. He said he did not receive any paperwork, citation, or record of his arrest. And I didn't. Did you? Did they give you? I didn't give me. They handed me my skateboards. Have a nice day. And I walked out.
I don't want to
People
talk
expect
about.
so much. Oh. I
I cannot
to,
confirm nor deny.
I just happened to be wearing black on a sidewalk in downtown Portland at the time. And that apparently is grounds for detaining me. You know what, man? Spare me the BS. I don't buy it.
No.
I've seen the videos of the ongoing attacks. And you know what? If you show up to an event where you know for 47 days they're rioting violently and they plan to do so, and they tell you to wear all black to help them, yeah, you'll be arrested for being an accomplice.
Yep.
Now, you may not, the charges might not stick. You may get away with it. But they specifically say wear all black on purpose so that they can get away with crimes. If you shield them, you're helping them. You're an accomplice. They say in a statement, the U.S. Marshal Service declined to comment on the practice of using unmarked vehicles, but said their officers had not arrested Pettibone. All United States Marshal Service arrestees have public records of arrest documenting their charges. Our agency did not arrest or detain Mark James Pettibone. Now that's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Department of Homeland Security officials did not immediately respond to a request for comment. It's like stop and frisk meets Guantanamo Bay, said attorney Juan Chavez, director of the Civil Rights Project at the Oregon Justice Resource Center. Chavez has worked on litigation surrounding the weeks of rioting. Yeah, okay. He called the arrests terrifying. You have laws regarding probable cause that can lead to arrests. It sounds more like abduction. It sounds like they're kidnapping people off the streets. Let me ask you something. If you got arrested because you were at a riot and they decided not to charge you and they released you, would you be complaining about it?
No, I'd be stoked.
I was in D.C. during the inaugural riots. Donald Trump was being inaugurated. Rioting broke out. The police kettled the entire crowd. That's what it's called. And I was trapped inside. They had told me I was arrested. Eventually, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
I was able to get out by just saying I'm press. And then eventually they pulled out the press. And I was very happy to have been released.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm not complaining. I understand why they're arresting everybody.
They're trying to politicize it all, though. That makes sense that they're complaining. They're trying to.
Yep.
As we said earlier, it's a trap. They wanted Trump to pull the trigger so they can use it against him. Look, he's the authoritarian, president we always thought he was. Like,
yep. This proves it.
See,
occupying army. I was out peacefully protesting, and I was waving a sign, and then the bad men wearing all camouflage came and they took me, kidnapped me. So what you're saying? Well,
they pulled my beanie down.
They pulled my beanie down in the car. Now that I can understand. That is
Okay,
an
that's an
egregious,
insult.
violent. I'm kidding. Let me fix this. You were at a violent riot. The riots have been going on for 6 weeks, and they were investigating you, and you got temporarily detained. You were lucky. That's the
and then
worst
released.
of it. And then
all in the
released
same
without
day.
charge. Yeah.
He wasn't in for days. It was like
90 minutes.
Yeah. Under 2 hours? Are you serious? And you're
I
complaining?
I got to spend something like 12 hours in jail.
Yeah, spending
because
the
I was
night in jail
skateboarding in
sucks.
Chicago.
I
Yeah, it
also
was like
spent the night in jail. It's
concrete
not
slab.
a fun thing to do.
It was cold. It was bright. And I was on a concrete slab because I was skateboarding.
Someone really nice actually gave me some toilet paper to use as a pillow.
Very
You know,
nice.
when I got arrested, this was in downtown Chicago. The jail was just a big concrete block that you could sit on. You could sit and lay on a I think I used my shoe as a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
There was no contact with anyone else, and there were people screaming, just like the whole night screaming.
Oh, that sucks.
Sleeping with the lights on, cold, with like on a concrete slab, wasn't fun. I had no idea what time it was, how long I'd been in there, just no windows or anything. And then finally they came, let me out, and they handed me my board back, and they said something about like, you have a court date, whatever. When I went to court, the judge was like, "What is this? Get out of my courtroom." He was really angry, like he was really offended, I think.
Yeah.
But they showed up. They were trying to prosecute, like the people who, there were security guards at a federal building who wanted me arrested, actually showed up, and the judge was like, "Are you kidding me?
Right.
Some 19-year-old kid is skateboarding, on your building's sidewalk."
Yeah. Don't you have better things to do? Huh?
I'll tell you
Go
what.
do better things.
I didn't
Thank
cry
you.
about it. I got released, and then I was like, I don't know, now what? And then when I went to court, I was just sitting there, and I was like, I don't know, now what?
Yeah.
And they told me to leave, and that was it.
What can you do?
These people are like, "Oh, I've been arrested."
No. I wasn't arrested.
Oh, right,
I was
right.
released after 90 minutes.
They didn't even arrest me. You know what it is? Maybe the real reason he's upset is because he's not good enough to be arrested.
Maybe.
Why aren't you arresting me? Hey, wait, you arresting him? Come on, I've been rioting here all month.
Are we going to show the video of them taking him?
Do we have it? Is it on there? I don't think it's on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think they actually have it.
Oh, I mean I've got it over here.
There's a bunch. Is it of that specific?
I don't
guy?
know who it is, but it is two people walking up to a guy wearing all black and taking him in.
Do you have it? Did you transfer it over?
I mean, I have it right here. I could give it to you. Hold on.
Yeah. And then while you do that, I'll pull up this. Video shows protesters get shipment of bats before Brooklyn Bridge brawl. Interesting.
Okay.
They say surveillance video from outside City Hall appears to show protesters receiving a small shipment of bats before anti-cop activists clashed with officers on the Brooklyn Bridge. The delivery was made by a car parked on the street near City Hall, one man retrieving 6 bats in the trunk. Police say the bats were delivered so the anti-cop activists could confront a unity rally proceeding over the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan. The unity rally included clergy, law enforcement, and community activists. It's unclear if the City Hall protesters used the bats in the wild Brooklyn Bridge brawl before opposing protesters. So I guess you've seen the footage of the cops who have been bashed over the head.
Yeah, it's messed up. And it was the same cop that was kneeling with the protesters, trying to, like, I don't want to use the word appease, but to show solidarity, I guess, with them, and it's like, look, I'm here with you guys. I'll kneel with you. And then he's one of the people that got
Bashed in the
beat
head.
over the head. And
It was like
you don't care about.
so.
that.
We got the check this out. We got one of the black bag videos. It's so nice watching some movement on arresting these Antifa people. Looks like military or Homeland Security units. Listen to the woman ask. Use your words.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Use your words. What are you doing? Use your words. What are you doing?
We got you, friend.
Use your words. What is going on?
Look how he's
Who
dressed.
are you? NLG will get you out. What's your name? Tell us your
The
name.
NLG will get you
What
out.
is the
Okay, you're fine.
NLG?
We'll get you out.
National Lawyers Guild.
We got you, friend.
We got you, friend.
Oh, fuck.
Whoa. Nothing happened.
You just violated their rights.
Oh, shut up. Notice the individual. Look how they're dressed. He's got a bag, potentially something in it, but he's wearing a helmet.
Right.
What is the old saying the protesters like to say? Why are you in riot gear? I don't see a riot here. So I'll say the same thing to this dude. Why are you in riot gear, bro?
Right.
Were you coming expecting a riot? Looks like you were. Looks like there's been unrest and rioting for 47 days, and you were down there with protective gear for some reason.
Yep.
That's not necessarily a crime or anything like that. But it seems like they're investigating these people. He probably matched a description. Guess what? They can arrest you.
Yep.
Well, not arrest. They can detain and investigate. He didn't want to answer any questions. They cut him loose. There you go. Don't go to riots.
Now this isn't. We don't know exactly if that's who we were talking about before. I don't remember the name of the man that we were talking about in the other article. This is just an example of one of these minivans showing up and taking this person away. So.
You know what, man? You want to engage in this kind of stuff? I'm not surprised it's going to happen. What am I supposed to say?
Right.
You know, I was making the joke earlier about, you know, when I was a kid, you'd never actually expect the guys jumping out in the minivan and snatching someone off the street to be the good guys.
Right.
But in this instance, if their choice is to, you know, fire a beanbag which hits somebody in the face and cracks their skull, or to just drive up in a car and pick one person up and start investigating,
Right.
which would you pick?
Yeah.
What would you have us do?
The non-lethal action always.
What would you have us do to stop 47 days of rioting when the arrests don't work and when they keep releasing these people without indictment? What do you do? So I think this is the more peaceful option.
Yep.
You wait until they start walking away from the courthouse, then you pull up when they're alone, and you walk out, you arrest them. And they didn't even get arrested. They got investigated, detained.
Yeah.
That's the worst of it.
And released in 90 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And they make it a big story because it fits their narrative that they're oppressed.
Right, exactly.
It's so crazy. You don't get to throw a brick through a window, start a fire, and then go, help, I'm being repressed, when the police come and say you're under arrest. It should be a song. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.